Mob Psycho 100 is referred to by many as a perfect anime. Be it the jaw-dropping visuals or the emotionally compelling writing, what's there to not like about this silly old show? Well, something I wouldn't have made this video otherwise. Let's talk about Mob Psycho. So, for the sake of organization and to get you to watch till the mid-roll ad pops up, I'll divide this video into two sections, one dedicated to the visuals and the other to the writing. But before I do, don't worry, this isn't a sponsorship segue. There's one thing I'd like to clarify. I like Mob Psycho. I enjoyed the show. It's just that I have a few complaints. Just in case it wasn't obvious, this video is subjective. As the Melon Man would say, y'all know this is just my opinion, right? Let's get to it. Mob Psycho looks incredible. It's one of the best looking shows of all time. The anime boasted a healthy production cycle and an abundance of talent, a combination practically unheard of given the state of the voluntary prison camp, the modern anime industry. It was a creative haven where complete freedom was awarded to the talent. It was mesmerizing. If I had to complain, I'd say I'm not the biggest fan of the design / the stylistic approach. Let's just say I preferred One Punch Man Season 1. Although it isn't exactly a problem, it's just that I prefer a less stylized look. Besides that, it's perfect. I think the let the animators do whatever they want philosophy is great. Also, they did an incredible job at bringing one's unorthodox art to life. An incredible amount of love and passion went into this project, and it shows. Some of the best animators out there worked on this show, be it Yutaka Nakamura or Hakyugo and friends. And the final product is one of the most memorable flexes of 2D animation muscle ever. Make sure you know it's fully 2D. It matters a lot to them. Moving on. Well, this will be tricky. People love this show. They love the way it's written, they love the characters, and they adore the narrative progression. And I do too, to a degree. Mob Psycho is a well-written show. There's no two ways about it. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the coming-of-age genre, I can appreciate the story it tries to tell. It's a show that focuses on personal and emotional growth, all while dishing out its fair share of slapstick, surreal, and gag-oriented humor. On paper, it sounds great, and it is, mostly. As a whole, I really enjoyed the first season. The goofy yet fascinating world and the unique presentation made for an amazing 12 episodes. The gag humor was at its best back then, meaning it was actually somewhat good. Season 1 was fun. As for the second season, I liked the way it handled Mob's character, especially near the start. It was a healthy mix of that goofy style and a relatively matured character arc. The Mogami arc was, on paper, something I would roll my eyes at, but between Hakyugo's masterful direction and the show displaying a rare bit of subtlety, it worked. I loved the Reigen Mob dynamic as well. That press conference episode was perfect. It wasn't just Mob who developed in that arc, Reigen did too, which was great, as one might think of Reigen as a narrative tool that exists to help Mob grow, but in reality, they influence each other. I thought Season 2 was the best one. Sue me. As for Season 3, I liked the finale was nice. It was a long time coming. They built up to it since the start, and it felt like a natural conclusion. This truly was our Mob Psycho, literally. As you might have noticed, I wasn't blown away by the writing, except for a few brief moments. In fact, I can't say I was particularly fond of the third season and its reliance on character drama. I don't dislike the entire show, but I felt my interest waning as the episodes came and went. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but now that I'm making an entire video about the show, one with a provocative title no less, I need to articulate my issues, and that's exactly what I'll do. Or at least try to. At first, I thought to myself, maybe I am a smooth-brained action fan who can't comprehend anything beyond flashy energy beams, but I quickly dismissed that notion, as most of my favorite works contain very little / no action. The House in Fata Morgana, 3 Days of Happiness, Hyoka, Kara no Kyokai, all of these titles are character-oriented. I like shows that focus on and develop their characters. So then, why wasn't I blown away by Mob Psycho? Well, here are 3 reasons why. Firstly, I don't like the coming of age genre. It doesn't appeal to me. Maybe it's because I didn't really go through any of that stuff when I was that age, so I can't relate to it. Whatever the reason might be, coming of age isn't my thing, and the entirety of Mob Psycho leans into that aspect. Secondly, I don't think the show is particularly funny, despite the comedic presentation. Again, comedy is a subjective thing, but I just don't think a naked guy with a shaved head is funny in any way, shape or form. It does have its moments. I'd be lying if I said this scene didn't crack me up. Also, the Surreal Season 3 Episode 8 was bizarrely comedic in its own way, but as a whole, I wasn't amused, which wouldn't be an issue if the show didn't try to be a comedy, but it does, and so it is. Thirdly, is that a word? Yes, it is. I think Mob Psycho is a show that tries to have its cake and eat it too, meaning it doesn't take itself seriously and at the same time, it takes itself way too seriously. But probably pretentious, that's way too long. How on earth does this goofy comedy take itself too seriously? It's a silly show. I'll explain. I like learning things from the stuff I watch, but I don't like it when the stuff I watch teaches me things. Does that make sense? Let me draw my own conclusions a la Vinland Saga instead of telling me what to think. I have a personal dislike for shows that do the latter. Stop preaching. Become a good person. It's okay to run away. You're only able to survive thanks to the help of others. You're the protagonist of your own life. Actually, that one is good. That's good. But you get the idea. The way this show tries to propagate its message is too on the nose for my liking. It clashes with the otherwise comedic vibe. Light-hearted shows can be deep, for lack of a better term, but they need to be subtle about it. I feel like Mob is a bit too heavy-handed when it comes to this aspect. It really wants you to be a good person. This wasn't a major problem during the first 2 seasons, as they had a light-hearted, action-filled, nothing-burger story underneath the character drama. So you can imagine how thrilled I was when I realized that the 3rd season was entirely character-focused. Sarcasm refers to the use of verbs. The 3rd season, despite having a few memorable moments, didn't really compel me in any way. It took the drama from the 2nd season and stripped the fun away from it. It's the absurdity of the setting that made the drama palatable, and without it, the episodes felt dull, which is exactly why I loved episode 8. It was ridiculous in a good way. It juggled between drama and surrealism really well, and I felt like the rest of the season lacked that balance. I did like the final episode. Again, I thought it was a natural conclusion. And those were my opinions. The keyword there being my. I don't dislike the show itself, I just dislike a few things about it. It's a decent anime all around. And that just about does it. This was difficult to put together, so a subscription would be nice. Also, watch this other video on screen. Do it.